I've been playing Behemoth games since 2008 with the release of Castle Crashers. And then I loved that game so much, I went back and played the first console release, Alien Hominid HD. And I've stuck by their side ever since, buying Battle Block Theater day one on the Xbox 360, and I've even participated in the first Pit People beta where they made me sign an NDA not to share any screenshots or videos about the game. Even though I didn't like Pit People and didn't buy the game, I feel like one day I'll give it another shot. Last weekend was the Alien Hominid Invasion beta, the Behemoth's new game that's coming out eventually? Over the weekend, I spent a whopping 23 hours playing the beta, which, if that isn't the most out of anybody, I'm sorry your life sucks more than mine. The worst thing, I didn't even get to do everything. The beta had lots to offer, and I was just busy trying to win the beta challenge by beating one of the bosses really fast. By the way, I didn't even win because someone had better strategies than me and kept it a secret. Not salty or anything, but all my videos and times were public info, and they used it against me, but that's fine. My fault for wanting other players to compete with me. Anyway, this video is mainly for the Behemoth, who are currently working on the game, and some of them seemed very interested in my personal opinion about a lot of things, because I was such a good player at the game, probably the second best next to Dan. Dan's only better than me because he has 800 hours and he made the game. If you give me another 200 hours, I'll be up to his level, I swear. Let's start off by explaining what I like most about the game, because it's the first thing the game teaches you. The most important thing in this game is movement. It's how you get around, it's how you dodge bullets, and it's how you kill enemies. The game does not work if the movement doesn't feel great. And Behemoth always scares me because they've never had to make a game where movement was the most important part. But luckily, they've knocked it right out of the park. You could tell they spent years making and tweaking this movement system they decided to go with. They knew how important it was, and they delivered. If dodge wasn't in the game, I would cry because I pushed that button more than I pushed the shoot button. It's not only the movement options that feel good, it's also the speed. In this footage you're watching, I have buff movements thanks to some cool stat increases, which I'll talk about later. But just know I'm going 60% faster than normal, and my dig movement is 27% faster. I like speed, and there's a ton of ways to change how your movement works based on how you prefer. If speed isn't your thing, you could always increase your jump height, add an extra jump. It could all be adjusted to how you want to play. And that's how the Behemoth mastered movement in this game. You're in control of how you want to move and build towards making it better using your preferred playstyle. The beta came with 3 difficulties: insane, normal, and don't play this difficulty or you're a loser. That's not what they call it, that's what I'm calling it. I'm mostly kidding. You can play on whatever difficulty you think suits best for you. But honestly, I think nobody should play on this difficulty, because I think the game is really balanced for new players on the regular difficulty. And if you pick the easiest difficulty, you're stuck on that difficulty for that save file. More on that later. So I think you may regret playing the game on the easy mode, and it may feel less enjoyable. It sounds weird, and I've never heard of anyone doing this, but maybe lock the friendly difficulty until people try the regular difficulty and decide if that difficulty is too hard for them after they die a few times, and allow the ability to switch to friendly on that save file. Speaking of switching difficulty on save files, you can't actually do that, which makes perfect sense in every other Behemoth game like Battle Block Theater and even the original Alien Hominid. In this game, I have a very mixed opinion. I spent most of my time on the regular difficulty. Why? I was already so good at the game, I was ready to move on the harder difficulties. The problem, I've already sunk so much time into the regular difficulty, I've been very attached to my items. I liked my movement speed, I liked having a shotgun, and I couldn't retain that in a new difficulty, which I completely understand. You should not be able to start a new save file and have all the overpowered stuff that allows you to kill a boss in under 1 minute. That's not where the issue lies. When I started playing insane mode, I quickly realized I didn't even like my starting weapon. I'm now slower than I was before, and I didn't have any mutations. It was a really tough first hour on insane mode, and it's kind of a turnoff. The whole time I was playing, I was like, man, I really want to go back and play the regular mode. And you know what? That's what I actually did. Despite being good enough to play on insane mode and finding it rather challenging, I found the regular difficulty that had all the stuff that it became so attached to was more fun to play. The solution for me? When the full game comes out, I'm not even going to touch the regular mode, so I won't become attached to all the stuff in the file. But what's the solution going to be for the people who didn't play the beta and learned what I learned? They're going to have the same problem. they're going to be attached to their items, but not have the solution of having their entire account wiped. Now, what I suggest to fix this issue, if you want to keep difficulty locking a thing, I'd want to see Insane Mode have better loot drops compared to normal mode. I think that alone will allow more players to make the switch and say goodbye to all their stuff in hopes of eventually getting better items. Maybe even add more unlockables, like a few custom colors you can only unlock in Insane Mode, exclusive heads, and maybe even a gun that's unlockable that's really bad and shoots rainbows that deal no damage and the bullet sound is someone screaming. Just a thought, I just really want Insane Mode to be cooler and have people want to play that mode instead of the regular difficulty once they learn how to play the game properly. Now, there's two kinds of difficulties in this game. The kind I mentioned before is mostly about how much health you have. The second difficulty, it's the enemy difficulty. And the way the game works is kind of weird about it. The enemy difficulty is based on how much time you spent in the level. The longer you're in the level, the tougher the enemies get, which I personally do not like for two reasons. Reason one being, I've gotten so good at the game, I'm usually out of a level between 1 minute and 30 seconds and 2 minutes and 30 seconds, depending on the objectives given. So I'm often out of level before max difficulty is even reached. Reason two being, it seems like it punishes a lot of new players. Dan has mentioned that it takes an average player around 5 minutes to complete a level, which I've never done in my life. I have no idea how people spend that much time on a level, but it seems weird that the enemies that the new players are getting are harder than the enemies that I am getting, being a good and fast player. Why does the game get easier the better you get at? Maybe the enemies should get harder the longer you go without a game over. So instead of entering a level with no difficult enemies, maybe be forced to enter a level where the FBI is already spawning their toughest agents, giving better players a challenge. Because I'll be able to feel like 8 bosses in a row no problem, and it's the same difficulty every time. Just tweak the difficulty scaling a little bit, because it makes no sense that new players are struggling when established players breeze through levels with no problem. Games should get harder, not easier. I've played Minecraft Dungeons, Neon Abyss, Dead Cells, and many more, and in every one of those games, getting a new, better weapon is exciting. In Alien Hominid Invasion, the same is true, kind of, because I got a shotgun with triple bullet increase by 17%, and I stacked it with 2 boosts that increased the triple bullet by 8% each. There's also an increased crit rate. The stat on the head was a 25% increase to movement and a 27% increase to dig speed. So I've reached a fundamental problem where I had the best setup I could ever imagine. I'm sure you can go a little crazier, but I like what I had and wasn't willing to completely change everything for a few extra damage points. But this was because during the beta the max item level was capped at 10, or at least I never got an 11, which means the odds of me getting a better gun that makes me willing to want to switch out the shotgun was slim to none. The only thing I was willing to switch out my shotgun for was a slightly better shotgun, and I think that's a problem. And the problem also existed in Castle Crashers. When you get the best weapon possible, what's the point of using a new weapon? Every game has a solution to this. Neon Abyss and Dead Cells don't save your weapon between runs, which means you'll end up using every weapon naturally because you can't find your favorite weapons. In games like Minecraft Dungeons and Borderlands, enemies scale up to your level, which means the old weapons start feeling weaker and weaker until you get a higher ranked weapon that you like, replacing your favorite weapon, because you're struggling with it. Now, Alien Hominid Invasion has a system like this in place, kind of. But once I reached like level 30, it seemed like there was no difference than in level 50. I just stopped getting better guns. So the question is, how do you solve this? I have 2 solutions. One is a lot more fun than the other. The boring solution is to make weapons scale with levels, so you have to replace them every now and then. But the second solution is really cool. What if the Behemoth made a new mode into the game? Kind of like an Iron Man mode, where you can only use the weapons and stat increases that you get that run. And when you die, it deletes your save file and records your best score. You can kind of technically do that in the game already, but it's not a built-in feature. You'd have to manually delete your save file and stuff like that. I think it would be sick to see how far someone could go in a run without reaching 0 lives. Also, this would include keeping the same amount of lives you have between quadrants, because it resets back to 0 after you beat a boss. Adding a second way to play and experience the game would be really fun. It's actually what's so cool about Battle Block Theater. Insane mode feels so much different than the normal game despite it being exactly the same. The consequences are just more tense. Anyway, I hope you do like the second option and add it because it sounds really cool and a way for people to play the game forever once they feel like they've maxed out on their main account. I feel like this next point is probably going to be the most controversial one. I absolutely do not like the shop, but for a good reason. The shop is good. In fact, too good. Sometimes I'll even enter a shop and spend tens of thousands of coins rolling for better items. Being able to do that makes the loot boxes you get from around the map feel not special. Even though they are rare and supposed to feel like they are important, I want to be able to grab a loot box and feel like there's a chance to get something worthwhile. Some levels can give you 1,000 coins under the right conditions, which is around 3 purchases from the shop. I suggest completely removing restocking items and have one of the item slots be fixed to be a life increase, since you won't be able to reroll until you got one. Also, a price increase would be really good. I bought a lot of junk from the store just to resell it to get more rerolls. I would say a 3 to 5 times price increase would feel like buying things from the store actually costed something. There's no shot I should be able to enter a store and leave with 50 things I didn't intend on buying. Walmart already does that in real life. I don't need a video game equivalent. I also think there should be more things to spend your coins on. Some people have favorite heads. I often use the clown head in Battle Block Theater because I'm a psychopath, and I will not use another head. It has become my identity. I think it would be really cool if you were able to spend coins to convert stats to a specific head. Also on that point, you really added Berber, but not a clown head. Add a clown head, Dan, so I can use it. Actually, there might be a clown head in the game. I haven't come across it yet. I never actually came across Berber head either. I only saw that in the Behemoth Discord. I think I only came across something like 20% of the heads. I have no idea. I don't have access to the game in order to check. But I didn't come across every head, which is kind of cool. There are that many customization options. I didn't come across all of them in my 23 hours of gameplay. But if there's not a clown head, Dan, add it to the game. I demand it. This is not a negotiation. Anyway, what was I on about? Add more things to spend coins on. Delete the option to restock the shop. Increase price of things. I don't know. I lost my thought thinking about clowns. The mutations are what make this game really cool. They fundamentally change how you kill and interact with enemies. A lot of them are really cool, and even though I didn't use all of them, they're meant for different playstyles, and I'm sure there's use for a lot of them somewhere for different players. Right now they're balancing them, and they know things like vampires OP, but if I could suggest a little change on that, the movement speed and the jump height on it should be taken away. Vampire can do it all. You can basically fly across the map like a vampire. I should absolutely reword that one because that makes my point sound really bad. You can fly around the map like Buzz Lightyear drinking jet fuel for breakfast. It's absolutely insane, and I think it takes away from the speed demon mutation. Another mutation I find an issue with is the show off mutation, which takes away 75% of your health and removes all lives. I've already expressed this to one of the devs and they said they were going to look into it, but let me explain it anyway for those who don't know. Show off, really cool. Adds that extra layer of challenge to the best of the best. And it's optional and not forced at all. The problem lies in what using that mutation takes away from you. Other mutations. I love using Speed Demon, the jetpack one, and even the grenade one is really cool. Those mutations make the game more exciting. Using show-off mutations removes the ability to use the really cool ones. And although you'd be the ultimate show-off for completing the game without a cool mutation, would it be more fun with a mutation? I think so. I know most of this video is me asking for the game to be harder, but this is the one time I'm going to ask for it to be easier. Let us use show off along with another mutation. Not for the sake of the game being too difficult if you use show off, but because I want the game to be more fun for those who choose to do so. What's this? Another thing I'm going to say is too easy? Sadly, yeah. Intel and objectives are too easy. In fact, in my 23 hours, I didn't even fail one objective, besides the one I died on due to natural occurring circumstances. Some objectives literally take 4 seconds, and some take about a minute. For me at least, I've been told it takes most people a lot longer. For the intel one, sometimes you only need to kill 5 to 10 enemies to get enough intel to complete the objective. And because I'm a psychopath, I just want to kill 50 enemies. I don't really want to complete a level in 2 minutes. I want it to be a lot longer. Maybe that's the Alien Hominid HD fan in me that went through waves of one-shotting enemies, but that's basically what I'm doing. Look! I've been one-shotting every enemy in the background this whole time, and most of my time is only spent killing them for juice and because the game says I have to. Also, the intel objectives feel like they get really repetitive because they really shouldn't be an objective. I think it would be nice if the objective bar was actually hidden and there was no intel to pick up, and the next objective only unlocked once you've killed enough enemies. This way, it wouldn't feel like an objective, but rather a shoot fest, like the original Alien Hominid, where you could just run around and shoot people for fun instead of it feeling like a chore. That's the main objective, but there's a lot of other objectives too. The ones I really like are the kill the purple enemies objective, but mostly because they don't spawn fast enough, and I'm just shooting other things waiting for them to spawn. I really like the flybot hacker one, because it feels like you actually have to hunt them down, and I'm a big fan of these original enemies you have to kill in order to progress. There's also ones where purple robots go around and you try to catch 3 of them, and they actually juke the hell out of you sometimes, and that's really fun. But some of the ones I don't like deliver the ice cream cone to watch it for 15 seconds. Also the fishbowl one, which is exactly the same as the ice cream cone one, except it breaks. But I've never actually had it break before, and the devs literally said, yeah, we're gonna half the health of that, which I still feel like isn't enough. And there's one with the bomb where it's exactly the same as the ice cream cone, except it explodes when you don't do it within 30 seconds. There's also one where you watch a kid for 30 seconds. Easiest babysitting job of my life. All these are insanely easy, and you don't even have to shoot a single bullet. I'd like there to be more mini bosses in replacement of these. Like the hunters and the flybot hacker, I feel are just really nice. I just want to shoot shit in the face, damn it. But I also get why there's a lot of easy objectives. But if you could you at least make these a little bit harder? Like instead of a random spot in the map, could it be made so the ice cream cone is on the highest part of the map? This way it takes a little parkour to get there. I'm saying that hoping you don't do that because my jump height is literally halved and the objective would be really hard for me based on my setup because the shotgun doesn't really get much air when you shoot it on the floor. Although I think it'd be really funny to watch me struggle to jump. Also, fun fact for those who don't know. On day 3 of the beta, I actually found out that shooting the floor with a charged shot actually increases your total jump height with some weapons. I'm pretty sure it's just the shotgun, but maybe the other weapons, I don't know. Oh, speaking of which, I have no idea where to put this segment. But I just mentioned charge shots, so they take too long to charge up, so I never use it. Just make it less time. Although, I don't really care. The only reason I didn't use it was because shotguns already pierce through armor without a charge shot. Please don't nerf it. I know I like the game to be harder, but I like the shotgun. I think this game is very speedrunnable, much like BattleBlock Theater is. I'm actually currently 6th place on the solo leaderboards for BBT and improving every day. Now understand that in 2013 speedrunning wasn't as common as it is now, so some cool speedrunning things are missing from BattleBlock Theater, like a timer for an individual level in story mode. But there's already some cool features in Alien Hominid Invasion that can make it a lot easier to speedrun. You already have a timer that tells you how long it takes you to beat each level and each quadrant. Thank you for having this. I really appreciate this. I was actually able to beat a quadrant in 7 minutes and 13 seconds, which is kind of nuts. But I think we can push it one step further. Embrace it. Track the shortest amount of time it took for you to beat the game and put a star next to it whenever you beat your time. Just like when you beat a high score. Have an in-game leaderboard for the shortest time, just like you do with the score challenge. In-game leaderboards are cool, and speedrunning increases replayability. I should know because I spent most of my time trying to beat the speedrun beta challenge. You can even add something like a reward for beating the game in a certain time. Like beat the game under 10 minutes and you get a cool rainbow skin or something dumb. More ways for people to enjoy a game? It's always better. It can reach so many more people who love to play games fast and well. This is the part where I tell you how I felt about the beta and the game moving forward. I absolutely love this beta. It's my favorite thing I've played all year, and I will absolutely be playing this game when it launches, even if none of the things I mentioned are even changed. Because despite all the negative things I said, it is still a great game that feels good, and it's still fun. And I get this game might not be what I want it to be. And if making the game more difficult makes it so less people enjoy the game, then maybe they shouldn't change a thing. Because from what I understand, a lot of people struggled more than I did. And maybe if they do decide to add some harder difficulty changes, they decide to only implement these changes into insane mode, to keep it easier for the people who've never played a game like this before. And let me be clear, I don't like games for the sake of difficulty. I'm not the kind of guy who thinks every game should be like Dark Souls, but I do think as you get better at the game should stick with you and keep up with your pace. And there's going to be a point where everybody gets good at the game and people stop playing because the difficulty's gone. Games should definitely not get easier the more you play them and unlock better stuff. The game should force you to get better stuff so you can keep up. I think Behemoth really cares about making a great game that everybody can play and have fun with. They have done it with every game they worked on, and they continue to impress and redefine whatever genre they work on. And if the developers want to save any of the information for further use, I have a Google Doc in the description containing the rough draft for the script. Or if they want to reach out personally to discuss more of my thoughts, my Twitter is @Buckley'sPants. Dan, you already follow me on Twitter. Also, I'm in the Behemoth Discord. I have a lot more minor things that don't really matter. Like personally, I don't like how you can stand on Megabot's head to cheese the fight. And if any viewers at home want to subscribe to my YouTube channel or follow me on Twitch, I would really appreciate it. I streamed for like 16 hours during the beta on my Twitch channel, and I'll play a lot of Battle Block Leader to this day and make custom maps for my friends and fellow speedrunners to enjoy. I also plan on giving Pit People another shot since the last time I played it was in September of 2016. And if you want to learn more about Alien Hominid Invasion, I plan on making guides on how to play the game and what's the best build you should go for once the game gets released. This has been Buckley's Pants, and I'll see you when the full game comes out. Also, if you use any of my ideas, I want my name in the credits. Okay, thanks, bye! Also, the music's really cool, sorry, I forgot to mention that.